The Phantasmic Journey Podcast is brought to you by Tascam and Amazon Studios. For more than 30 years, Tascam has developed products for every segment of the sound and music industry. From the high-end audio professional in a major post-production studio to the novice of hobbyist at home, Tascam is everywhere. They are a company committed to providing their customers audio and video solutions that enable breakthroughs by using sound in ways that are exciting as they are accessible, even recording the voices of the dead. You asked for a non-scripted paranormal TV show. You begged for a non-staged paranormal TV show. You begged and you pleaded, and we have listened. We present to you Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. It was released October 31st, 2017. In this series, we show you what it's like behind the scenes and conducting a real paranormal investigation. Join Gavin Kelly, Paula Purcell, and their special guests to seek out the existence of life after death by going to numerous haunted locations such as jails, hospitals, battlefields, and museums, collecting compelling evidence by means of video, photography, and EVPs. In this season, the crew investigates the St. Albans Sanatorium, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Jailhouse Pizza, and the famed Monroe House. And you can watch Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown on Amazon.com right now. Season 2 and 3 will be coming soon. Your journey begins now. As you call the path and both the known and unknown, what do we understand? What answers are we trying to achieve? Are there answers? Tonight, we gather to find more verity. Join us as we take the journey into the unknown. This is the Phantasmic Journey Podcast with your hosts, Gavin Kelly and Paula Purcell. Well, welcome to the Phantasmic Journey Podcast, everyone. I'm Gavin Kelly, and sitting right next to me is my lovely wife, Paula Purcell. How are you today, Paula?
Doing pretty decent.
Really? Nobody can even hear you.
Well, usually it's on.
It is on. All right. Pretty decent, huh? Is that all you are?
It's cold.
I'm happy. I am finally over my sickness. I have my voice back. I may sound a little bassy, but that's probably due to setting it up on the mic to give me more bassy voice. That just sounded bad.
Oh.
So, all right. So, Paula, what do you have in the news for us? We got 15 minutes before we get our special guest on that a lot of people are dying to listen to.
Well, how many of you guys out there got your Christmas tree up yet? Yeah, we haven't.
I had to look.
We had to think about it for a second, but yeah, we haven't.
I looked in the corner where it's supposed to be.
Okay, well, I had to throw that in there, and you have your shoppers.
Oh, yeah. Well, we should hopefully be setting up our tree pretty soon. I mean, I'm not in no hurry for it, but...
Okay, well, let's go on to finish some other details.
Come on, bring out the news.
On today, in 1945, 5 U.S. torpedo bombers were lost in the Bermuda Triangle.
Well, that's a given. Anything disappears in the Bermuda, which I don't understand about the Bermuda Triangle. You have cruise ships going right through it. How come they're not disappearing?
I have no idea.
It must be at a certain time or something. Maybe it happened all long ago. It doesn't happen anymore. So I'm just assuming that's what it is, because you got the Disney cruise ship going through there. You got the Norwegian going through there. You got so many cruise ships going through the Bermuda Triangle, and they still come back.
True. Today is also Walt Disney's birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, Mr. Walt. We love Disneyland. We love Disney World.
If he was alive, he would be 117 years old.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's some crazy age right there.
And today is... We have been going through different things in the past couple of months, from our sickness to different issues in life.
Tell me about it.
And it's not just us. I have noticed on Facebook where everybody has gone through so many deaths, so much unhappy situations are going on. I've been following people. I've been looking at y'all's stories. I've been thinking about you guys. I have a few friends that I've been kind of keeping close dibs on. One dear friend of ours in England that I've been watching and been talking to his sister on some few things.
Right.
And he is in our prayers tonight. And so I want to keep that in mind. With that being said, I found this article, and it kind of touches everybody's whim because we are at Christmas time, and Christmas can be a joyous occasion. Christmas can be a sorrowful occasion. But this in mind could keep everybody in a positive mood, hopefully.
Okay.
Today is the most important day of your life. It is the recognition that every opportunity you have tomorrow is determined by your intention, purpose, and skill today. People tend to romanticize the past and dream of the future. It leaves them caught between a past that controls them and a future that avoids them. While the past is important for education, you can't be good yesterday. While the future is important for vision, you can't be good tomorrow. Today is all you get.
Okay.
You may believe that the day from your past was the most important, or the really important part of your life hasn't arrived yet. Don't believe that. Everything in the future depends on what you do today. A lot of talented people with great promise in their careers get derailed by a past they can't change and a future they can't know. People want to control everything, the past, the present, and the future.
Okay.
There's only one thing you control, and that's what you do today. There's nothing you can do to change the outcome or previous circumstances, and what will happen next year, next month, or next week is unknown. But what you do today brings clarity. There's nothing you can do to change the outcome of previous circumstances, and what will happen next year, next month, or next week is unknown. But what you do today brings clarity. Tomorrow is never guaranteed, and tomorrow won't be even better unless you make it better today. And that was one of the things on that. Now, I did find a strange story.
Okay. We love strange stories. We always got to get the strange stories out of the way before we bring our guests on.
Yeah. So this one here, and also I keep the Bush family in our hearts and prayers because we have, George W.H. Bush had passed away last Friday at 94 years old. He did break the record of being the longest lived president, or past president. He beat it by 6 months. He beat Gerald Ford by 6 months of breaking that record. But the Bush family is in supportive. My parents were big Democrat people, but they loved the Bushes.
Okay.
And so, and with that being said, I like to keep that in mind of thanking all them tonight. The study, here's the story. The study, let's see, I'm going to make sure I got this right before I, okay.
You're live on the air, so get it right.
I know. All right. Taxi drivers and rubbish collectors have been ranked alongside clowns, taxidermists, as the most creepy professions.
Okie doke.
In the first ever empirical study of creepiness, clowns top the chart, followed by taxidermists and sex shop owners.
Okay. I hate clowns, so that's just me.
And they have the top 10, the world's most creepiest occupations. The clown being number 1, of course. 2 being the taxidermist. 3 being a sex shop owner. 4 being a funeral director. 5 being a taxi driver. 6 working in the clergy.
Wow.
7 as a janitor. 8 as a garbage collector. 9 as a guard. 10 kind of threw me for the loop. 10 is a writer.
Okay. I have no idea.
Well,
unless you're Stephen King.
Well, true.
That is creepy.
Yeah, it can be.
The stories that he comes up with, the imagination that man runs with, oh boy.
Well, a study by a team of Knox College in Illinois found that ambiguous threads led to the perception of creepiness, which is likely why clowns are seen as so unsettling. Unsurprisingly, males were seen as more physically threatened by people of both sexes and more likely to be seen as creepy.
Okay.
The report found we are placed on our guard by people who touch us or exhibit non-normative, non-verbal behavior, or those who are drawn to occupations that reflect a fascination with death or unusual sexual behavior. They also asked what hobbies people perceived as creepy, and collecting things came out top. Collecting dolls, insects, reptiles, or body parts such as teeth, bones, or fingernails was considered exceptionally creepy.
Yeah.
Hobbies that involve watching, such as bird watching, was also ranked as creepy by many. The study found that our creepiness director is active when our brain is trying to work out whether someone has ill intentions. Professor Francis McAndrews' team concluded, everything that we found in this study is consistent with the notion that the perception of creepiness is a response to the ambiguous of threat. The study was carried out by asking more than 1,300 people to complete the online survey. Further studies are planned with the research, saying, we believe that our research is a good first step in looking at the topic that has not been studied before. And we see nothing in our data to discourage us from pursuing the idea that creepiness is an additive human response to the ambiguity of threat from others. We would like to extend this line of research in future studies by looking at responses to creepy places, like haunted houses, as well as creepy people to determine out creepiness. Detectors are attuned specifically to social interaction, or if they function in response to an ambiguity of threat in general. So they are looking out at all things that are creepy, from jobs to haunted locations to strange looking people. This could be an interesting, or how the mind works on creepiness.
All right. That's a lot of creepiness. But anyway, our special guest tonight has had many adventures. He has an extensive 12-year background in construction and fabrication, but now works as an X-ray technician. Raised in a historic, and some say haunted areas of Tennessee, are known as Big South Tunnel. His interest in the paranormal started at a young age. As an investigator, he is determined and high energy with unique awareness and knack of finding new and interesting locations. He hopes to help others like himself. What?
Nothing.
You're like hitting me with your hat. I'm trying to talk here.
I'm trying to get back on a bar stool.
Well, your hat was like hitting my arm and moving me off my bar stool. I got to sit on my bar stool. Anyway, he hopes to help others like himself with answered questions about the unexplained. He has labeled the residence he shared with his wife and son as haunted. Living in a home with this type of activity influenced him to study the paranormal and investigate unexplained phenomenons in the surrounding area. His number one desire is to find hard evidence and reveal the truth behind the unexplained, whether it be paranormal or not. No calm the fears of others and strengthen his knowledge in the field. His greatest fear is that the answers he might find may not be the answers he seeks. I am talking about Doogie from the Tennessee Wraith Chasers. Give me a moment here, and we're going to go ahead and get him on the phone. This is going to be an exciting night here. We're going to learn a little bit about his past.
Hello?
Hey, Doogie, this is Gavin Kelly, and next to me is Paula Purcell. Kelly, how you doing this evening?
Gavin? Hey, Gavin, what's up, brother?
We're hanging in there. Finally got over our sickness, and I actually have a voice now.
Oh, I heard that.
Oh, man.
I heard that.
Well, it's been about...
It's that time of the season, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was like 2 months I've had this. It was like major allergy or sinus or God knows what, but oh, my. it's finally gone. I'm happy.
I heard that, man. I had that crud for a long time, man. It seems like I'm never going to get rid of it.
I know, especially with having to, running and gunning, got to be on location for Haunted Live. I mean, you must have been taking, I don't know, some good stuff to be able to handle it.
Oh, man, it's still that way, man. We were shooting Haunted Live and then basically going straight home, grabbing our suitcase, and right out the door, going to events. We had events about every weekend, and it's just nonstop, man. I'm booked all the way until Christmas and after now.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
it's nonstop. I head out at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Jeez. I don't know how you can do it. We had to stop and start doing one location a month to go film. I mean, before we were doing close to 2, almost 3 a month, and it was killing us. There's just no way. I mean, wow.
It's about there. That word sleep, I'm starting to not know what that is.
Yeah.
It's like a thing of the past.
I can definitely relate with that. I've been having a lot of sleep issues, but it was due to us being at a location that kind of messed us all up. So,
yeah.
Oh man, that it basically, this location I'm talking about is like 10 times worse than the Bell Witch cabin.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. I know I had a crazy experience at the Bell Witch.
Oh yeah.
So,
that's
That's
true.
going to be a pretty rough one.
Yeah, how's the leg doing? I know you got really scratched up on that episode. Oh my God.
Man, it's doing a whole lot better. I know when I come in that night, the wife checked it out, and I had that big bruise and then the scratches down the back, and the bruise is still there. You can still see it. The scratches are healing up. So far so good, man. I think I'm going to limit my visits to the Bell Witch cabin. That's for sure.
That is true. I mean, I saw the episode because all of a sudden you kind of like, it looked like your leg got pulled out from under you, and then it was like, oh man, you were just like in excruciating pain, and I didn't think you got scratched. I basically thought you got kicked and like really hard, but I don't know.
It was. I describe it to people as, like back in the day when we used to mess around like football and things back in high school, when people would come up behind you and like punch you in the back of the knee,
right?
To try to buckle your knee. That's what it felt like. And then, I was like, I got hit, but it started burning real bad.
Yeah.
And that's what, I couldn't understand. And, we've got a schedule on the show, so it wasn't like I could just stop and, check my leg, because I had like 3 layers on because it was like 28 degrees that night.
Oh, I'll bet.
And so it was just like, the show's got to carry on. So it was one of those things, that we checked out afterwards. And then I think Peppermint Fatty, he actually did like a show wrap up for the Bell Witch, and he was able to show people what went on after the show and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that episode was truly crazy. Oh man!
Oh, it was, man. I have to rank that up there with probably my top 2 places that's really rattled me.
What is the first place?
The first place was Old South Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
I got bit down there, and that rattled me pretty bad. So, those 2 places right there have really put a stamp in my brain to, hey, watch yourself.
Oh man, where did you get bit? At Old South.
I was actually at the nurses station. I was manning the DVR. This was back in 2010. And all you can see when the lights are out and you have that screen in front of you, you can't really see anything around you because of the brightness of the screen.
Right.
And I could see all the guys. Everybody was upstairs, so everybody was accounted for. And I heard what sounded like a man say, hey, and I kind of looked around, and I'm looking at the screen, I'm like, there's nobody in here, unless, somebody broke in one of the doors, down in the basement.
Right.
And I looked around, didn't see anybody. And then I was in like one of those, I know you've probably been there, I was in one of those rolling chairs at that desk, and I turned, and when I turned around, I thought, in the dark, I just thought my arm got caught, between the chair and the desk.
Right.
And I was just like, that hurt. And then about that time, I heard footsteps behind me running down the hall, and a little kid laughing.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, that's strange. So I got up then, and I radioed the guys. They all come down there. And then, when I got there, I was looking at him. I was like, man, my arm. And I looked at it, and right on the back side of my arm was a bite mark, like a child's bite mark. So that rattled me pretty good.
Timmy got a hold of you, apparently.
Yeah, it sounds that way. Sounds like Timmy was having a ball with old Doogie that night.
Oh, man. Yeah, we've been to Old South probably about 3 times, and the evidence that we captured there was truly compelling. I mean, one of the things, I don't know if you ever see how we set our DVR cameras up. Since I'm a musician, I use the big, heavy, round bases with the mic stand, and then we clamp our DVR camera on. So, I mean, you have to have a tremendous amount of force to push that camera over. And it wasn't even hooked up to a cable or anything. It was just clamped on, and that was it. Paula was doing basically the same thing that you were doing. Now, we're talking about the new nurses station or the old nurses station?
The one that's right there across from geriatrics, the one you first immediately come to that has like the elevators next to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's the new nurses station where they say that there was a nurse that committed suicide in the bathroom or something like that.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think that's one of the many stories that I've heard there.
Yeah. So I'm up in the OR2 actually, and we're doing EVP sessions up there, and Paula is frantically trying to get a hold of me on the radio, and I'm not going to be able to get the signal due to being an OR because of the material that's inside the walls. It basically knocks out all of the radio frequencies until we walk through the threshold. And she frantically gets me on the radio, and I'm like, what? And she goes, we have hardware damage, equipment damage. I'm like, huh? And she's like, yeah. And she proceeded to tell me, and she said, just come down here and see. And she told me what happened. She was sitting at the DVR, just like what you were doing, and out of the corner of her eye, she saw the entire camera pole and everything just slam down. The sheet that covers the DVR camera shot off the back. It cracked the glass and everything. And
wow.
And she's like, we have hardware damage, and I'm just like, cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
I'm not worried about the damage, but we just caught some amazing evidence.
Well, true to an extent, but there was no camera on her. We didn't actually have a camera on base camp, but she went ahead and told me, and I saw the mark on the floor where the camera hit. So, tremendous amount of force. Holy cow! But yeah, Old South is pretty cool. I really like that place. And then for you, you've been all over the place. I mean, man.
Oh man, I've been to so many places. Some of them run together. I can't even remember what some of them look like. Especially the asylums and things like that. They just all start running together after a while.
Yeah.
But I've been very blessed, man. I have to say, I've got to hit a lot of bucket list locations, and a lot of locations that have never been hit before.
True.
And just getting to see these haunted spots, and and that's what I'm passionate about. And when I get to go in these places, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm just like, oh, this is amazing.
Oh yeah. We're the same way. We're trying to hit places that haven't been touched before. They're really hard to find.
Yeah, that's true. You have to really dig deep into the sticks sometimes, and a lot of times, I find that you go into these towns and you talk to the old timers there that's been there for 60 years or better, and they just start telling you these stories of the old Henderson place out there on 102 or something like that, and you're like, oh, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Right.
They're like, does anybody live there? No, it's just sit there abandoned for 30 years. Nobody ever goes out there. And then there you go. You find your spot.
Huh. Well, I know you guys probably want to start hitting places out of the United States.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing if we could do that. We talked about going international 2 years ago before we did Haunted Towns, but it just didn't pan out. Everything was just kind of up in the air with Scripps Network and all the, all that big buyout with Discovery. So it just didn't pan out that way. But, knock on wood, hopefully things will keep rolling like they're going, and hopefully we'll get across seas. I know Nick Groff, he's been over there, doing his thing with Paranormal Lockdown, and I think he's got a new show coming out here. Well, he's got some new shows coming out pretty soon, so he's been able to go over there and do his thing, and we would love to take Wraith Nation over there and let them experience it, through our eyes and how we do things.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm thinking that in 2020 we're supposed to take our show over to overseas to the UK and Ireland.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, that's one of my bucket lists is Scotland and Ireland, because me being a McDougal, that's where all my family's from. And man, that's one of those bucket lists. I'd like to just go over there and stay for about 2 months, just do all the spooky things I can do while I'm there.
Oh yeah, Paula's looking at me going, I don't think so. She can't sit for a flight that long.
That's my problem. It's a 17.5-hour flight. I would go nuts.
Watch movies.
You better download a lot of movies and a lot of music.
I mean, I'm one of those. Like for me, we drive everywhere, and I know you guys drive everywhere. And for us, for driving everywhere, like for me, instance, if I drive no more than 4 hours, I have to stop for at least 30 minutes or 45 minutes because I can't stand sitting for like 4 hours. For me, sitting 17.5 hours, I'm sitting here thinking, I will be a psycho case by the time I got off the plane.
Well, you sat for 4.5 hours to go to California.
Yeah, and I was ready to get off the plane by the time I got there.
Yeah.
Fidget spinner was not working.
Yeah.
That travel, man, it gets rough. I know we've made some 10, 12-hour drives. A lot of times we try to fly when we can, but, especially, doing the show, they usually get us there pretty decent. But when we're doing our events, we don't always have the luxury, to fly. So we have to rent a car and, 4 or 5 of us piled up in a old Chrysler minivan going down the highway at 80 and all kinds of weird smells and food in the floor. It's a little rough sometimes.
Going 280, 2 windows down, driving 80 miles an hour.
That's right. So anybody out there thinking about being a ghost hunter, you might want to second guess yourself where you do a lot of traveling, because it's not as pleasant as you think it is.
Oh man. Yeah, we drove 19.5 hours from Paducah, Kentucky, all the way to Corpus Christi to the USS Lexington.
Yeah, that was a long drive.
Yeah, and we got pulled over, too.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's always a bonus.
Oh, yeah. We were driving a Ford F-250, and inside the back area were all our cases with all of our equipment, our cameras and everything. And we just rolled into Jefferson, Texas, and we're checking out the, what's it called?
The Grove.
The Grove. And it was closed, but we were taking pictures, and we got back into the truck, and we headed on out. Well, the GPS was like, stay in the left lane, like that. All of a sudden, we get pulled over. The cop goes, you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, I ain't got a clue. He goes, you were driving in a passing lane. I'm like, the GPS said stay in the left lane. And he's like, and he looked at it, and sure enough, it did. And he's like, the back end of the truck kind of got his eye, and he saw the blue cases, and he's like, hold here for a second. He broke out his flashlight, looked in the window, and he's like, what are these cases for? I'm like, you won't believe me if I tell you. And he goes, try me. I said, we have a TV show, and we're paranormal investigators for the Paranormal Journey to the Unknown, and we're heading to the USS Lexington in Corpus Christi, Texas. He looked at me like, right. I'm like, oh, crap. So I had to take out one of my cards and give it to him. He's like, oh, wow, you really are. Hey, have you guys ever checked out the Grove? And I'm like, yeah, we just did, and you pulled us over. I couldn't believe that. That was just totally crazy. But, yeah, we made it all the way down to Corpus Christi in 19.5 freaking hours. Oh.
You got dropped.
Wow, I guess we dropped you.
Yeah, I was like, I was listening to your story. I was all into it. And then I get the friendly lady on the other end. Call ended. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Like, well, thanks.
Like, okay, I didn't know I had that friendly lady on the phone, but okay.
She wanted to put her 2 cents worth in.
She did. Call ended. That's her 2 cents.
Yeah, most of the time it's her voice saying, call ended, and then my voice doing some very bad words and hitting the phone.
Right? Oh, man. Yeah, we were talking about the 19-and-a-half-hour drive all the way to Corpus Christi, Texas. That was the most miserable trip we have ever taken. Oh, my God. It was crazy.
And then I had to hurry up and get back because I was a service unit manager for Girl Scouts, and I had to take care of Girl Scout cookies because our semi was showing up the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So basically we had to drive all night to get back home.
Oh, man, I remember those days.
Mm-hmm.
Those days, well, our first season of Ghost Asylum, of course, we all had day jobs for the first 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were like weekend warriors. We all, our jobs worked with us and let us have Fridays off so we could travel Thursday night. So we basically work all day, drive all night to our location, shoot Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and drive back on Sunday. Well, we got caught in Missouri in a blizzard.
Ooh.
And we all had to be back at work because our bosses were like, okay, we're giving you Friday. You ain't getting Monday or you're fired.
Oh.
So we literally had no sleep. We pulled into my driveway at 6 a.m. and all of us had to be to work at 7. And it was like a foot of snow on the ground. We didn't think we'd ever get home. But, man, I tell you what, those Chrysler minivans, I got to get a big fist bump to them like I do the big man because, man, they got us through and got us home. And I never thought a minivan could do so much. They have magical powers. Don't let anybody lie to you.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that. When we got back from Corpus Christi, I think we got back at 5:35 in the morning or something like that.
No, it was 7:35 in the morning, and my truck was going to be there at 8 o'clock.
Okay, 7:30 in the morning. She had to drive me to work. I had to be at work at 8. There was no going home. There was no changing. It was just going to work, whatever I was wearing.
Yeah, that makes for an even longer day when you've been up for like 57 million hours. It seems like a very long day.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. But we're basically the same way. We got a day job during the week, and we take off on usually Friday night to head to our locations. We do the filming and everything on Saturday, and then Sunday we head home. We're weekend warriors.
Yeah. Yep, that's the way you got to do it, man. People think this TV business is all just, balloons and streamers and cake and
Nope.
all this kind of stuff. But man, they don't see the rough part of it. Where you're traveling all the time, smelling a pair of jeans out of your suitcase, and be like, well, I guess I have to wear these today.
Oh wow!
We'll put a little Febreze on them and let's roll.
Oh man! So. Your day job, was it when you were working, an X-ray technician? Is that what you were doing back then? Or was it the construction and fabrication?
Actually, well, construction in the early days, and then in 2009, because I've been in the paranormal for about 25 years, somewhere close to that. Mm-hmm. So it was all, the weekend things, that kind of stuff. But during the show, I run an orthopedic office. I was managing that for my doctor.
Okay.
And it was quite the job. I was X-ray tech by day, office manager by day, and spooky guy by night.
Right. Well, I mean, see, a lot of people don't really understand that. They think that, well, unless you're like Nick Groff or Zach Bagans, they can actually make a living doing this. But for like us and other shows, you basically have to have a day job to go along with shooting the TV show, just to try to make ends meet. It's rough.
It's not been to the last. It's not been to the last few years with haunted towns and things like that we've actually been able to do it as a living. Mm-hmm. We were all working. I know the last season of Ghost Asylum, we had all lost our jobs. I mean, it got to the point that it was getting like that, and then we lost our jobs. Ooh. We shot that season, and then that's when everybody was losing their mind because they waited around for budgets and stuff, and we all had to try to get other jobs because we were sitting around for almost a year, and that gets rough, So I went back in, I started up my construction business and started doing some odd and end kind of jobs, and that got me through to the haunted towns, and then things are looking up now, and I think travel is definitely looking up for us. So I think we're going to be around for a little while.
Well, that's good to know.
So hopefully, well, I hope so. I mean, anything with TV, I don't ever leave concrete because it changes like the weather around here in Tennessee. I mean, you never know from one day to the next what's going to happen.
Yeah, that is true. But did you guys actually have? I see when I was watching Ghost Asylum, the trucks. Were those actually your trucks, or were they like sponsored trucks from like Ford or something like that?
Oh, I wish. No, they weren't either one. They were all rentals. We tried to keep the same trucks, throughout. We drive, have people drive them to location to location. But if we had to fly, 3 or 4 states over or something, we would just try to get the same truck because sometimes we'd be in a black Dodge, black Dodges, black Fords. But they were all rentals. We just carried our magnets with it and slung it on. At that point, I wish that was my truck.
Right?
Because I was driving my old beater 1995 Dodge with 350 million miles on it.
Jeez.
But, so.
Know the feeling.
Yeah, it's been nice to be in our truck.
Yeah.
What?
She said, know the feeling. I think we're almost at, 200,000 on our truck?
Yeah, and because when we first got the truck, we put almost 100,000 miles on that truck in the past year and a half.
Yep.
It's easy to do when you're traveling.
That poor little truck goes, where are we going now?
Yeah, especially when we pull a trailer behind us. We travel with a 4x8, is it? Yeah, 4x8. We started with a 5x8, and then we kind of lowered it down to a 4x8, and that travels with us. We put all of our stuff in there. So we got this Colorado pulling this trailer, and it cries. It does. It cries.
Have to wipe the tears at every stop.
Pretty much, yeah. We have to promise her we're going to give her a drink of oil, and we're going
you have to promise it a rub down.
Okay. I didn't quite go that far.
That right there, that is exactly how we rode all of our vehicles. We'd always, be wondering, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? I remember one time we did an event at Old South Pittsburgh, and it was just me, Chris, and Chasey Ray when Chasey was with us. And we were ready to get out of there. You spend 3 or 4 days in that place. You're just in a funk. You're ready to get home.
Yep.
And so we go out. We load the trailer up, and Chasey's ready to go. We're in his truck. So he's loading everything in. He loads the cooler in. I remember looking at him. I was like, man, you think we'll return that cooler around? I said, it looks like the wind's going to catch that lid. Oh, no, it's fine, dude. Whatever. And I was like, you think you should let your truck warm up? I said, it is like 18 degrees. No, dude, I'm just ready to get the hell out of here. I was like, all right, let's go. So here we go, rolling. We're all freezing. We start to get off the interstate, back onto the interstate there from OSPH. And he slams on the gas, and here we go. We get about halfway up the mountain there. We get up on the mountain, and then the truck, I look back, and I'm seeing the smoke, and I'm like, where's the smoke coming from? I was like, dude, your truck's on fire. He's like, dude, whatever, you're always screwing with me. I was like, nah, dude, your truck's on fire. And I remember he looked back, he's like, oh, shit, it is. So we pulled over, his truck's smoking. We're sitting here on the mountain. It's 18 degrees outside.
Oh, my God.
The truck won't run, so we don't have heat. Chris he's sick, and he's eating cheese out of the cooler because on the way down off the ramp, the top blew off the cooler. I don't know where it went. Food flying out the back. It was one of them things just like, oh, my God. And then the tow truck driver, it took him like 4.5 hours to get there.
Oh, man.
It was just, sometimes it's a nightmare.
See, that's the stuff that you want to get on camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's what we should have, but there was too much cussing going on between Chasey and all that kind of stuff, and then all of our stuff was frozen like we were, so it didn't even want to work.
Oh, man, I'm in tears here laughing because that's crazy. We always...
Good times.
Oh, yeah. Well, we freak out when we're with the truck and the trailer, and we're on Mount Eagle. It's not a pretty a pretty sight.
No, and Mount Eagle's not friendly when you're carrying a bunch of stuff and you got something that don't want to go. It's not a real friendly place to be.
Nope. So, well, I do remember one time after, I think it was like maybe, I want to say 5 or 6 months after Ghost Asylum was over and you guys did your last season, I was trying to get you guys to come with us to film with us and investigate over at Old South Pittsburgh before it ended up getting closed down.
Oh, yeah, before it got axed.
Yeah.
That was a bad deal. We actually had Wraith Fest there the day that it got closed.
Oh.
We had, we had, I don't know, 150, 160 people from all over the United States coming to OSPH. And Chris and Mike went down earlier because we had to get porta-johns, make sure the city knew everything was good.
Right.
We have one of those big, huge tents that you rent. They come out and set up. It was already set up in the parking lot.
Okay.
And I don't know, they called me. I was getting stuff, here in town, and they always like to mess with me. And Mike called, he's like, dude, they just padlocked OSPH. I'm like, whatever, dude. I was like, what all do I need to bring, with me on my way down? So me and Porter will be down, first thing when we get back home. And he's like, no, dude, I'm serious. They just padlocked it. We're going to have to go to the sheriff's department. Felix and a few people from Ghost Hunt Weekends was there. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I said, what are we going to do? We got all these people coming.
Right.
I was like, we're going to investigate the grass? I mean, what's going to happen? And
right.
But luckily, man, Chad from Ghost Hunt Weekends come through and saved the day with that. He talked to a buddy of his, and we ended up getting the old high school that's just about 20 miles down the road. And the mayor of the town gave us access to the old fairgrounds that was there. So a lot of, some people were disappointed. It was like, well, we were going to investigate Old South Pittsburgh, and it's like, it's out of our control. This is not something that we can fix within, 5 hours.
Right, right.
It was just, it was one of the worst days we've ever had because it was just a nightmare because the week before we just went in there and sponsored a room. Got we brought couches, beds, had all of our posters, from Ghost Asylum, all this kind of stuff in there. I mean, we spent a little money and then padlocked the place. And of all days to do it was the day of our event.
Right. Dang. Well, I'm sure you got all your stuff back, right?
No, I hadn't seen a drop of it, but I'm sure we will. This new owner, I think if we've still got stuff down there, I don't know what happened in the in-between stages, but I'm sure we'll get it back at some point. I ain't really worried about it. It's, as long as that place gets back up and running, that's all I'm worried about.
Oh, heck yeah. I love that place. We kind of call it our home away from home because, like I said earlier, we got some crazy activity and EVPs there, so hopefully when we go back, maybe sometime next year, or if you guys ain't filming, come with us.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. I think we may be here before too long. As it is here, after the first of the year, we may. I'm not saying anything solid right now, but there may be something going down at Old South Pittsburgh.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Well, if it does go down, gotta let me know so that way I can come there too.
Yeah, you got. I'll definitely put it out there. Well, I'll put it out there as soon as I get my Facebook stuff working again. I can't get any. I don't know what's going on with the Facebook thing. I can't get anything on my public figure pages unless I go through Instagram. I figured that out here just a few minutes ago.
Huh. Yeah.
I was trying to share your stuff, where you were posting this week, and I can get it on my personal page, but I can't get it on anything else like the TWC page or my public figure page.
Oh wow!
I don't know what Facebook has pulled on me, but I finally figured out the backdoor entrance, and that was going through Instagram.
Huh. Well, I know Facebook has been doing some crazy stuff. It's making me lose like close to 75 friends in one day.
Oh yeah, that's weird. A lot of people have been experiencing that. I've experienced it, and I've experienced it on Twitter as well. Like I'll wake up and then like 200 people on my follow list is gone. I'm like, That ain't right.
Right?
Facebook, I don't know, man. I've got where I don't really use Facebook like I used to.
Right.
You know, I don't know. It's just getting unsocial, if that makes sense. It's just too much nonsense on there.
Yeah, I hear you.
I like that. I like the Instagram and the Twitter. I was never a Twitter guy, but I'm starting to like it more and more because you don't have to read all the crazy stuff all the time.
Well, that's true, but the only thing is your phone keeps going off every time there's a new tweet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I turn my notifications off, which you probably figured that out because I don't check Messenger at all. That's like I go in there and it's like brushing back cobwebs and seeing what all the junk's in there.
Yeah.
I have to kind of weed out who I'm talking to and who I'm not talking to.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, I messaged him. I haven't got a response back. Boy, it's been a while. I hope he sees it.
Yeah. Oh, I get it all the time. I get so many messages. And then I guess this thing puts it like into an overflow.
Uh-huh.
And people's like, I message you, and I look, and there's like an overflow for messages, and it doesn't even tell you that there's messages there. You have to go in and look at them.
Oh, wow.
And then it's like a whole another 1,000 some odd messages over there. I'm just like, oh my God, this is way too much.
And
it's like I can't keep up with this.
Yeah, especially when you're doing a live Facebook feed, and you've got Porter and all the guys, and all of a sudden I can see you pick up your phone. And you're like, I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and message him, see if he gets it. Nope.
Yeah, they're just rolling through. Yeah, we're just rolling through, and people get mad, But by the time we look up and start saying something else, it's done scroll through like, 100 messages already. Just that one time you look up, then you miss like 50, 60, 70 messages that people send.
Yep, that is true. Oh, man.
It's like putting prayer in an email. You're going to get 1,000 of them.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. That's a good way to say it. That's it. That's it.
Oh, you've seen Bruce Almighty a few too many times, haven't you? You don't like it?
Well, it's
Megabyte me.
It's kind of the same concept. I mean, you get so many random things going on.
Yes to all.
Yes to all.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then you got everybody winning the lottery.
Yeah. So, let's see. You told us about the bite and the scratch, but all these locations if you have been to, which one really stands out as, from your bucket list that you've actually had the most experience with?
I have to say during the Haunted Live, there was actually two of them. Well, the Bell Witch, number one, and Craig Font. Craig Font Mansion here in Castaigne Springs, Tennessee. That place, we've been trying to get in there for years. I mean, it's always been a haunted place in our hometown. We've always wanted to get out there, and we got the privilege to do that, and it didn't disappoint. That place was off the chain. And a lot of things wasn't able to be shown because we have to switch back and forth to different things, how we've got the show scheduled out. But Porter and I was up there with the Echo box in that place, and it was telling us the name of the house. It was telling us who we were talking to. It was just telling us our names, stuff moving in the room, shadow figures. I mean, that place really stood out to me because, number one, it was on my bucket list. I mean, that was the one place that I would have went out and shoveled horse poop for days to get into.
Right.
And and we finally got the chance, and that place really stands out in my mind. I don't think there's anything evil there. I can't say that for sure. I know there's something disgruntled there.
Right.
But it definitely lived up to its name of being able to manipulate objects, talk, move things. I mean, it was just great. That's all I can say. It was an awesome investigation.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that the one that you were in the casket?
No, that was Wynwood.
Wynwood.
That one was another good one. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't rank it up there because I was in a casket. That's not one of my better days in my life.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be that bad if I was in a casket and it would open up, but I was in a casket and they locked me in it. So it was like, and there was something knocking in there, so that makes it even worse.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean that place is amazing as well. But it was never one that I heard a lot of hauntings about.
Right.
You had heard different things. here and there about this or that. I heard some footsteps or something. Not as like the demonic stuff
Right.
they said was going on at Craig Font. But Wynwood was amazing too. But I did my time in a casket. I don't think I want to really do that anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, that's one thing that I think I said I would, if we ever had an experience of doing that, I said, no, there will become a time when I will be in one, and hopefully my spirit is not attached to it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I can't really tell people, to go out and jump in a casket. It's not the best feeling in the world.
Well, come on, it's now amusement rides.
Oh, yeah. Remember the ride over at Scarefest? You get to ride the coffin from going into a hearse.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was a casket ride there at Scarefest.
Yeah.
And you actually gave you the whole experience of being feeling like someone was picking the casket up and walking it to the hearse, and then you had that full vibration of being in the hearse. And then he did the whole virtual aspects while you were laying in the coffin about being dropped into the 6-foot hole, and you felt like something was being thrown on top of you.
All the dirt?
Oh, yeah. The whole 9 yards. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Some people are afraid of clowns. I
like
don't want that experience.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like Debbie Downer, but I'm glad I missed that one.
Well, Chris probably walked on by and was like, that would be really cool to do in an episode. And then next thing you know, Bell Witch, he's in a casket.
Yeah. Yeah, at least I did my time before I had to get 6 feet under the ground.
Right.
Which, luckily, we were going to bury him a little more, but there comes that safety aspect.
Right.
Then we got to worry about if the banks were going to cave in because we had just a crazy amount of rain.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of people was like, oh, you didn't bury him alive. I was like, well, yeah, we had, circumstances, the reason why that didn't happen. So, but it was still spooky. I mean, if people would have been there, people, sometimes you watch on TV and be like, oh, that wasn't spooky. Well, you should have been there.
Right.
Pretty spooky. Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for you. Because of the Haunted Live episodes this past year, I know that some people had cracked down about the show wasn't long enough, or some people felt like the experiences weren't long enough. Out of all the locations you've went to, do you feel like you had one location that you feel like your team needs to go back and work on?
You talking about from Haunted Live?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a few. We would like to go back to Craig Font. I mean, really, to be honest with you, we'd like to go back to all of them.
Yeah.
And do something a little longer, because an hour is just not enough. I mean, it really isn't. But I mean, that's just the way TV works. I mean, it was like, well, you guys need to do a 2-hour show without commercials. I'm like, well, commercials is what pays for us to be on this show.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what brings it to you every week.
That is true.
And then contract issues and then scheduling issues, they can't just give everybody a 2-hour show. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like we're American Idol. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
But and people was like, well, do you guys stay afterwards? It's like, we're there. People just think we're there for that hour, but we have all pre-production, all this kind of stuff. We got to go in, camera block. We got to look at the location, try to figure out, okay, how are we going to set this up? Where's some hot spots at? We still do our daytime sweep just like we did there in Ghost Asylum.
Mm-hmm.
We're there 14 hours, 12, 14 hours.
Right.
Easily. And, we got the crew, there's people running around everywhere, and we've got to do after live interviews with what just went down, and then we got to do the other interviews for the repack shows. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's like, everybody just thinks, oh, camera's gone, they're done. No, there's still a whole lot more that goes into it,
Yeah. Yep.
But you guys know how that stuff works.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people watching the show, they understand TV, but they just don't understand how it works sometimes,
Exactly.
And it's not, I mean, TV doesn't put it out there for you to understand either, until you're in it, then you don't get it.
Right.
It took us, you think things is a certain way. We did our own stuff before, but TV, I mean, it's a whole different beast, you got time frames and you got commercial breaks and you got to get this edited down to this. It's a fine line.
Yep. when we wound up going over to Jailhouse Pizza in Brandenburg, Kentucky, the owner came on out and he's looking, going, "Where's all the other trucks at?" And I'm like, "Huh?" He's like, "We had another show that came here, and they had a crew that came out, and they set everything on up, and then like a few hours later or 4 hours later, then another crew shows up, and then they start doing their filming." And I'm like, "Oh, no, but I'll show you exactly what we do." And he watched.
Yeah.
We pulled up, we unloaded, we set up, we got everything ready for our interviews. We shot the interviews, we shot the walkthrough, we got the drone in the air, we shot B-roll. I mean, we basically did it from the ground up all the way through, and he's just like, "Wow." I'm like, we do it all. I mean, that's just the way you have to do it, and a lot of people don't understand what really goes on behind putting together a show. We had a reporter that stayed with us at the Massac County Courthouse, and her mind was totally blown. She is a major ghost hunter enthusiast. I mean, she loved watching all the shows, but when she sat there with us, she's like, "This is nothing like what I watch on TV." I'm like, well, yeah, this is the stuff you don't get to see.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot people don't understand that goes into it. You know, like all those creepy shots during the show. Yeah, you have to do B-roll of all this. You have to do interviews. You can't. You don't do an interview and then, oh, you're straight in the investigation. It's like there's a lot of setup work, a lot of paperwork. You know, for the locations, red tape. You know, with the cities to get shooting permit. I mean, it's just there's a lot to it. You know, and people just think, you know, they just see that hour on TV. You know, and they think, oh, you guys went in there and done that real quick. No, that's like three or 4 days of shooting.
Yeah. The one thing, do you ever get this question by people? They're like, "How is it you always get activity in every single place you go?"
Do we ever get? Yeah, we get that question all the time. I was like, well, I said, we're just ghost whisperers. That's all I can tell you. You know, I knock on wood all the time because we get very lucky, but I think we also try to hit it from every angle. We use everything that's possibly available to us to get some kind of interaction. You know, sometimes we got 15, 16 cameras rolling, or, you know, 4 or 5 audio recorders, you know, 3 or 4 handhelds along with the rest of the cameras we got going on, and cameramen. I mean, we've got the place pretty much buckled down, and plus the locations we choose, you know, we do a lot of background investigation on them and history checks, and, you know, what paranormal team's been in here. We talk to them. We get the hot spots. You know, there's a lot of grunt work that goes into it to be able to get that kind of evidence. But it don't just happen in that one night. You know, it's over, you know, 2 or 3 nights. You know, going back to Ghost Asylum and Haunted Towns.
Yeah. I mean, for us, we only get a total of 24 hours to go in and do our investigating and our filming. And, you know, sometimes we don't get anything. Well, that's no big deal because we'll just dwell on the history of the location. So that way, the viewers that are watching, they can actually learn more about the location and think to themselves, you know, well, hey, they didn't get anything, but maybe my team can actually go there and we might get something.
Right. Well, these things, I tell people all the time, these things, you know, whatever it is we're dealing with out here, this energy or whatever it is, they're not trick ponies. You know, they don't always act on command. You know, it's one of those things you have to put the time and the effort in it. I mean, just like during Ghost Asylum, it looks like we caught a lot of stuff, you know, in the wrap-up, but I mean, you talk over a 3-day period, it might have only been 2 things out of that whole time that happened.
Right. Yeah, Casper doesn't work on a time clock.
No, they don't. There's been times that I've watched 12 hours of video of a ball sitting on a stage and thinking, my God, somebody shoot me in my face right now. Like, this ball has not done anything for 12 hours. And then you get to the end of the video and be like, can't believe I just sit here for 12 hours and watched a ball sitting on a stage.
All right. Yeah, going over all that evidence is just totally mind-blowing. You got all the DVR footage. You've got all the XCAM footage. You've got all the digital recordings. Oh, my. It's like, are you serious? It's like you feel like you don't have a life because you're sitting there listening to all these hours and hours and hours of audio, and all of a sudden it starts turning into audio, what is it called? Parodology oh, God, it's a big word. Pareidolia, or something like that, where it just starts combining all together, and you're thinking that you're hearing something, but you're really not hearing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the problem with, a lot of these new teams coming up, which, I'm glad that people are getting into this field, but a lot of them come into it thinking that it's, we're just going to be out here. It's glamorous. We get to go, put on our cool clothes and go out here and do this and do that. Right. And then they get into it, it's like, we got to go over evidence. We've got to go over all 7 cameras we had rolling. Yeah, you do.
Oh, man, I feel sorry for those people that are running the 32 camera DVR system.
Oh, good. No, we've figured out real quick. That's the reason why you see us a lot of times with 4 or 6, because we know what's coming afterwards, especially when you're trying to get a show ready to go and you got a time limit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no possible way to get all that to the edit bay and get it to the people, and it's just no possible way. I mean, you can't just keep adding and adding and adding and adding. I mean, it gets to the point that, well, we may have you 1 episode done by, in 2 years.
Yeah. It's taken us to actually have 1 episode done a month. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's probably doing all you can do to get it to an episode.
Oh yeah. Well, see, for us, it's completely different because we have to get it. We have to go through all the evidence, pull all our evidence. We have to mark it. We have to go ahead and put it into editing stages. And then once it's all done with editing, then you go through and do your color grading and you do your graphics, and then it gets handed off to the closed captioning crew before it goes anywhere.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
It's just never ending battle. And then, of course, with us, you have to get notes from the network. How does it need to be set up? Get the time frames down because we have commercial breaks.
Yep.
So you have to get all that tied in together. We got to go this many minutes. Get the wrap up, and then the graphics coming in of dun, 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 when we come back. It's a lot of work. A lot of work.
Yep, and that is true. And that brings us to the halftime of our show. And you're speaking of commercials? Well, guess what? We got to do commercials. So you have been listening to Doogie from the Tennessee Wraith Chasers, and we're going to go ahead and pause for a few commercials here, and we will be right back. So stay tuned.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm going to do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency. Who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
Kubo, what have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Phantasmic Journey Podcast is brought to you by Tascam and Amazon Studios. For more than 30 years, Tascam has developed products for every segment of the sound and music industry. From the high-end audio professional in a major post-production studio to the novice of hobbyist at home, Tascam is everywhere. They are a company committed to providing their customers audio and video solutions that enable breakthroughs by using sound in ways that are exciting as they are accessible, even recording the voices of the dead. You asked for a non-scripted paranormal TV show. You begged for a non-staged paranormal TV show. You begged and you pleaded, and we have listened. We present to you Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. It was released October 31st, 2017. In this series, we show you what it's like behind the scenes and conducting a real paranormal investigation. Join Gavin Kelly, Paula Purcell, and their special guests to seek out the existence of life after death by going to numerous haunted locations such as jails, hospitals, battlefields, and museums, collecting compelling evidence by means of video, photography, and EVPs. In this season, the crew investigates the St. Albans Sanatorium, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Jailhouse Pizza, and the famed Monroe House. And you can watch Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown on Amazon.com right now. Season 2 and 3 will be coming soon.
All right, well, welcome back to the Phantasmic Journey podcast. I'm your host, Gavin Kelly, and next to me is Paula Purcell Kelly. Our guest tonight, his number one desire is to find hard evidence and reveal the truth behind the unexplained, whether it to be paranormal or not, to calm the fears of others and strengthen his knowledge in the field. His greatest fear is that the answers he might find may not be the answers he seeks. I'm talking about TWC, Tennessee Wraith Chasers' very own Doogie. Welcome back, Doogie. How you doing?
Doing well, brother. Doing well.
Oh, some crazy commercials there. I don't even know why they duplicated themselves. That's kind of weird. I'm sitting here going...
Things that happen in this realm, doesn't it?
I know. I'm sitting here going, I just heard that one. What in the world? Yeah, it just... I don't know. Just weird things that happen whenever we do the show. I don't know if we actually have our little spirit here. It's kind of messing with the equipment. I see that.
It seems to be what happens in my everyday life, so I'm sure it happens with y'all too.
Well, we live with one in our house. We have a 4-year-old ghost spirit that hangs out with and lives with us.
Yeah, name's Freddie.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you have to live with it day in, day out.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And let's see.
My little kid's not so much paranormal. Mine's an 18-year-old fixing to be 19-year-old. He haunts me every day.
Oh, gee. So you
he's
actually
there every time I turn around.
Oh wow. So it looks like that you have activity in your very own home.
Yeah, this place, when I bought it, I've known a lady for years. My dad used to make me, come down here and, help her, pick weeds off a hill, out of her flower beds and that kind of thing. And then, later on in life, I was able to buy this place. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize that her husband had passed away here.
Oh.
And, yeah, he passed away. Actually, what is my office now, what used to be the living room. And years went by, and I had all this weird stuff. Like down here in my office, I have a drop ceiling. And I'd come in from work when I did construction, and the ceiling tiles would be moved. There'd be like 8 or 9 of them. And I was like, I don't know what was going on.
Huh.
And, I'd be in bed at night, and it sounded like somebody's in the kitchen all the time. And I had a clock that would never stay on the wall. It'd always be swung across the room. And when my son came along, he was probably about 6. He knew nothing about this guy. I was out mowing one day, and I seen him crying. You just know when something's wrong with your kid. I'm down at the bottom of the hill looking up, and come up here, I was like, what's wrong, bud? He's just in tears. He said, there's a man in the house. And, of course, I told him, get in the truck, and he was probably like 6 or 7, maybe. And I said, if you hear me yell, I said, I don't care how you get there. I said, but get to my parents' house or get somewhere. I said, drive the truck. And he's like, okay. And so I look all through the house. I got my baseball bat with me going through because my gun, the guns that I had, they were in the place that I couldn't get to.
Right.
If there's an intruder in the house. So I searched this place up and down, every crevice that I could find in here, and nothing. And then he told me that it was a half a man. Like later that night when the wife got home, we went out to eat. He didn't really want to talk about it, but he said it was a half a man. And I was like, a half a man? I said, that's weird.
Right.
And the more, like days later, he would talk about it some more, and he'd just come up. He said, that guy that I saw, the half man? That's what he called him, half man. I said, yeah, bud. He said, he wears those shirts like you wear to work. Well, I was in construction then, and I always wore like flannel shirts and that kind of thing. And then he started describing this guy to me, and he described the man that died here to a absolute T.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's just like, and the chills hit me. Then I was like, oh my God. I said, it is that guy. So, yeah, I mean, we've dealt with it, still do. We have things happen, periodically, not as abundant as it used to be. It seems like it just depends on the time of year. But we've had stuff sit on the end of the bed. It sounds like people are still in the kitchen sometimes.
Right.
We'll think Luke's up, and I'll go look. He's sound asleep in his bed, and it sounds like people's in the cabinets. And yeah, we've dealt with it for. I know I've been here a long time, about 15 years now. So it's been a while.
Wouldn't you say that this year it looks like that the veil is thinning because there is just so much paranormal activity? It's coming out of the woodworks. It's truly amazing that I don't know, it's like either there's something coming or I don't know, something has been opened, but there is just a tremendous amount of paranormal activity happening in a lot of residential houses, and not just the famed locations, the paid locations and stuff, but I'm just talking about businesses, schools, libraries, and things that are just starting to pop.
Well, I've thought about that myself. I think everything's changing. The atmosphere is changing. There's more people. and there's more people that are, the paranormal has got out reaching more people now. So I think they're more alert because, there's shows out here and other teams out here that are teaching people, hey, this is what you need to be looking for. Hey, and people are starting to see that. And just like the new houses, like you're talking like new residential homes being built that are, they're being haunted and this and that and the other. I think it's just because there's a lot of land that was there that had never been disturbed before, and now it's being disturbed, and there's all these people moving and coming into these towns and stuff. And I think it just causes an energy change, I believe.
Right.
And I think people are just getting more open to the fact that there is something else going on out here. I don't tell people it's ghosts, but there's definitely something going on here.
Exactly. That is true. One of the questions that we always get, and I don't know if you get these questions whenever you do your meet and greets and things like that, but people always ask us, why is it that we constantly get communication or see apparitions of people from the 1800s?
We have had that question. Why do we get to, like a lot of Civil War soldiers and that type of thing. I think it was just that imprint in time was very chaotic, barbaric in some ways, just a lot of tragedy. I mean, because war now across seas, I mean, yeah, those people still experience that kind of thing, where we don't as much here. But back in those days, I mean, you didn't just drive down the street like you would have then, like when you'd walk down the street and just see bodies, piled on top of each other and be like, and instead of a ditch with just water, running from rain, it's blood from all the people who have died, and they're just stacked up everywhere. Right. And they just done mass graves. It was a very, very painful time in history. A lot of war, death, and just chaotic stuff going on then. And I think it put a huge imprint in time that I think still lingers to this day. And that's the reason why people, I think, experience that so much. They see the Civil War soldiers. They see that kind of stuff going on all the time.
Yeah, it's just kind of strange. I had one person when we do a thing called Ghostology 101, where we actually teach the community, the ones that come to us, and we teach them, the do's and the don'ts of ghost hunting and paranormal investigating. One of the questions said, "Have you ever seen a ghost dinosaur or a ghost caveman?"
Yeah, we've gotten that question before.
Well, I kind of came up with an idea because, not everything is truly demonic. So whenever we get growled at, that's probably a velociraptor.
Oh, yeah, that or a T-Rex, baby T-Rex. Oh, I mean, I would say so. I think a lot of it, this is my opinion and my opinion only. Other people may have the same, but I think a lot of it was a different time. That was before, and of course I'm a biblical guy, but that was before Christ.
Right.
I think that was before man was really here. So, I don't know. That's a very on the fence kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, I know I've seen spirit animals, spirits of dogs, heard dogs barking on EVPs, where I know there was no dogs.
Right.
So we do catch that. Now the dinosaurs, I don't know, man. I'd be grasping at straws to give you a definitive answer on that, because I don't think there is one.
I know.
It's just like in the paranormal, there is no definitive answers. It's just all trial and error, and you get, a lot of times you leave with more questions than you get answers to.
Exactly. Like I always want to have this particular gift, and it would help out tremendously if a lot of people actually have it. if you're able to walk into a location and even though it's abandoned, dilapidated, just falling apart, but when you look at it, it's actually the way it was while they were living, and you can actually see them just doing normal things. So that way when you do your EVP session, you can look directly at them instead of, you're doing a session and they're like, hey, they're snickering going, I'm behind them. Things like that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I just wish I could have that gift. I'm sure a lot of people wish to have that gift too.
I'm sure. Yeah, I would love to have that gift. And then, of course, if you had that kind of gift, you probably have people looking at you like you're crazy, man, too,
Probably.
I mean, some of these, sometimes you deal with psychics and things of that nature. And even me, I'm very skeptical about some things.
Mm-hmm.
And, I do believe people have a gift to be able to talk to the other side. I mean, I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I just look at them like, really? Are you? I mean, I don't know how much I believe that or not, But, that's just me. I'm not saying that everybody out here is, telling you stories. But, I mean, when they have psychic hotlines and things and there's like 10 billion psychics,
yeah.
Looks like there'd be more people hitting the lottery.
That's the thing I told Paula. I go, this is what I do not understand about psychics. How come they don't have the winning lottery numbers? And I actually asked a couple psychics that are friends of ours. They said, well, it doesn't work that way. I'm like, okay, but if you can actually see the future, then why can't you get lucky lottery numbers?
Yeah, I get that same. I've asked that same question. It's like, well, it doesn't work that way. We don't work that way. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, at some point, I think I would work that way just for a day,
right?
maybe on that Saturday night when they're drawing them winning numbers, just for one time.
Right?
But yeah, I don't know. I don't call anybody out, because I'm not gonna tell anybody they're full of it. Because probably some people look at me and think I'm full of it. When I go in these locations and things happen, and
mm-hmm.
But it is what it is, and you just take it and. Take it with a grain of salt if you want to, but to each their own is what I always say. And I've had a few psychics tell me stuff. I was like, "There's no way you knew that. There's no way."
Yeah.
And so like I said, there's some out here that I think have that gift, but I don't think 1-800 psychic has the answers for you all the time either. I mean, that's just. You just get a random person. Oh, I know everything about you. I don't think it works that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we actually do have 3 friends that are legitimate, and they can actually tell us things that we have not told anybody. So definitely I believe in them. But the other ones that are out there, I came up with a little test. Because they always say that they talk to their spirit guide. Their spirit guide is the one that draws them or helps them and leads them. I said, okay, well, here's the deal. I'm going to write down a number on this piece of paper. I'm going to put it behind my back. Ask your spirit guide to tell me what number it is. It doesn't go very far.
That doesn't really work out for them, does it?
Nope, it doesn't. You'll get the thing, well, my spirit guide doesn't work like that. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Point proven.
I don't know. I think some of it's a craft. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They learn to read body language, and they study it. You know what I'm saying? They study how to read people and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
But, like I said, I'm not calling anybody out or anything. I mean, there's good and bad and everything. Just like with paranormal investigators,
mm-hmm.
Some people try to fake stuff and other people don't. It's just, it's the field we're in, and you just have to take it however you want to believe it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. See, a lot of people have been telling us, they're like, well, you know what? You need to do a show where it's just basically the spirits. The spirits are the stars. I'm like, okay, sure, we could do that. But if something happens where a door opens or shuts, window opens or shuts, you hear a loud bang, and you have a camera on it, okay, there's no way to tell if one of your crew members did it, one of your cast members did it, because there's no camera on them. You basically wanted the show to be about the spirits. So the camera's on the door.
Yeah.
So how do you not know somebody had string on the bottom of the door and they opened it? That's the reason why we have to have cameras on everybody, so that way everybody is accountable when activity happens.
Yep.
And a lot of people just don't understand that.
Exactly right.
I mean, it just blows my mind.
Well, it amazes me what a lot of people out here, but I know we get some people like, well, they'll tell us after a show. I know we were talking about this the other day. Somebody sent a message. Well, you guys are just being ridiculous. The reason why you're not getting any responses is because you're not talking to them in Indian.
Oh, jeez.
I said, it's because we're not talking to them in Indian. Are you kidding me right now? And I was like, well, first of all, I don't know Indian, and I don't even know if that's a language. But it's just like, it just boggles my mind sometimes. I mean, we go in asking what we want to know, and the location we were at didn't even. I mean, it has to do with the intermingling of different spirits, But I mean, it's not like I'm going to know French. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
Like we just do what we do. I mean, it's not like we carry around, our Indian guidebook to tell us, the language.
Right.
I don't know. It just boggles my mind sometimes.
Yeah.
What people are saying, and I don't know.
Well, believe it or not, Paula and I, we were at a place called the Bethlehem Academy, and we're using the Echovox, and we had German come through.
Yeah.
Now that's crazy.
Yeah, that Echovox, man, it's just some crazy things, because we actually had a lady that spoke fluent Spanish, and also a lady that was German, and she knew German.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a few times that the Echovox started talking. She's like, "This is what it said." And then the lady, that was really fluent in Spanish, she said, "Oh, that's talking in Spanish. It just said this in a full sentence."
Right.
I was like, "Oh, wow. I need to learn some other languages, like, quick."
Yeah.
Hooked on phonics didn't really get me didn't propel me to that level, apparently. So, but it's amazing that thing, comes through. I think sometimes it opens up a portal, because you get like a multitude of things coming through, and it's like they're all talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll talk to you every once in a while, but it's like they're having their own conversations. Like you've done walked into a whole different realm. It's kind of trippy.
Exactly. Well, one of the things that we always run into is the language barrier, and we've actually started using a device that actually bypasses that. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, going, yes, that'll be awesome. It's a thing called a dandy box, and it has 3 pendulums, and what it does, it has 3 separate sounds. So you can use one for yes, use one for no, and then use the other one for or maybe. So that way you can break the language barrier, because obviously any person that speaks any language can understand sounds.
Right.
And that actually does work, because whenever they say that we've got German coming through or Spanish, it's like, I don't know any of these things. I mean, I'll look it up on Google, but I got to know how to spell it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
I agree with you there. But yeah, I mean, everybody. That's the thing about it, and that's really interesting to me, because everybody hears the same sound.
Mm-hmm.
They might not talk the same language, but you all hear the same sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Paula's new toy. We've been using that, and it actually does work. We've used it at a courthouse. We use it at the Hinsdale House in New York. And what was the other one?
Are you talking about the dandy box?
Yeah.
We used it on the trap door at the jail in Georgia.
Oh, the Crime and Punishment Museum. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably places that we've been that you guys haven't been to yet, but you guys need to go there.
Oh, I'm sure there's so many places that we haven't been. I mean, it seems like we've been to a massive amount of places, which we have, but I mean, the United States and abroad, I mean, there is so many places that are haunted. I mean, we could do 15 years of shows right here in Tennessee, you know, if you really boil down to it. You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
There's so many locations that are haunted that, I mean, you could just, if somebody would give you a show for the rest of your life, I mean, you could retire and probably go actually in the ground for real, you know, just doing paranormal investigation, because, I mean, it's an endless list of haunted places.
Yeah, and especially when you have I don't want to say a biblical town, but it's a church town. It's all church-going families, and then right smack dab in the center is the industrial slaughterhouse, which they use as a haunted attraction during Halloween.
Yeah.
And it is legitimately
extremely haunted location in the middle of a Catholic community.
There it is. That's what I was looking for. Catholic community. Yeah.
Catholic. Yeah, it's
well, the 250-year-old Catholic church just down the road from it.
Yep, and a cemetery right next door.
Well, I've noticed that hauntings have no prejudice. You know.
True.
They just wherever they want to be, that's where they want to be. I mean, just like churches, I've heard of churches being haunted. You know, we actually investigated one, you know, years ago, and it's like, you know, you never know where it's going to be haunted. We had a lady singing in the church. That's what the pastor there had told us. You know, I hear this woman singing when I'm here getting coffee at like 5 a.m.
Oh, wow.
You know, before I'm getting my day started. And sure enough, we experienced it. So.
Yeah, that is crazy. Well, let's see. We talked about portals, but have you experienced a portal? I mean, actually seen one?
Now I've not seen like an open portal or any. I've never seen that. You know, it'd be cool if I ever do. But I've been in places where I think there's things coming in and out very frequently that, you know, I would say that maybe a portal, but like I said, like visually, I can't see it.
Right.
But
right.
Evidence-wise, it says something, you know, it says it is, because, you know, you get different voices and you get these things coming in and out, and you ask if this is a portal way to somewhere else, and it answers you yes. You know, just from those answers, yes, I think I've experienced a few portals. I'd say probably maybe 2 in the whole time that I've been doing this, 2 to 3.
Yeah.
But never seen one. I wish I could. I mean, I think that would be one of those hell yeah situations in my life, you know, to be able to see something like that, because, you know, you hear about them all the time,
right? But
you don't really get to visually see them.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I brought that up is because we actually uncovered a portal that's over at the slaughterhouse. It's inside the mask room, and how we figured this out is we were there investigating, and then Sunday morning I woke up. Cause I like passed out on the table. It was 4:30 in the morning, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm drained. We actually had something just drain our energy, and I passed out, and I woke up. I could not walk. My equilibrium was off. I felt like I was drunk. Paula had to help me walk, and as soon as I got outside of the building, I was fine. So I asked a friend of mine that is a shaman, and he said, yeah, you actually encountered a vortex or a portal. And I'm like, really? So the next time we went back, the very same place, I went ahead and put 4 devices, EMF devices. Now there is no power lines above the building on that area. There is nothing underneath the table that would cause EMF. There was nothing in the room that can cause EMF, but I set up 4 devices, and I set them up like north, south, west, and east with a square in the center. And you can watch the lights go from one device to the other, to the other, to the other, making a complete circle, and then it starts speeding up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. There's one place, and we're actually going back there not this week. We'll be in Savannah, Georgia, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But next week, a place called the Exchange,
right,
museum and hotel in Gordonsville, Virginia. In the little house outside of the main quarters there, people have talked about a portal being upstairs. Well, we actually sleep in that room, and sometimes you get that dizzy, strange feeling up there in one of the rooms. And we actually had a guy in there when he had a compass with him, and you could stand there, and if you stand straight up and close your eyes and just put your arms down, you start kind of pulling. It's really strange, and everybody that we had do it, I mean, there was like 12 people there, and they was like, oh, I feel that. It's weird. And that's where we have a lot of activity going inside of there, too. But he laid the compass down, and it just kept spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And, you can put it anywhere else inside of there, and, it just sits there and points towards, north, wherever you're at, but there it just kept spinning and spinning and spinning, and it's like pretty much like maybe a 3-foot by 4-foot space.
Right.
But anything outside that space is just back to normal. It's really strange. So, I think that's, I don't know if that's,
It kind of makes you want to get a geomagnetometer and see what's down in the ground.
Yeah, exactly, to see what's under that place, to see what's going on. And see, it's only on the second floor, too. So that's what's strange about it, because downstairs, it doesn't do that. But it's just in that top floor that it does it. And, I don't know what the instruction manual says about portals, but, I mean, that tells me that there's something a little strange about that,
Yeah, I don't think anybody written a book about portals yet.
Yeah, I keep hearing about this paranormal instruction guide too. That a lot of people tell me there is, and I've still never found it yet. Be like, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't do that. I'm like, where does it say that you can't do that? Can you show me this field manual that you're talking about for the paranormal? I call it common sense. That's not a manual. That's just common sense.
Right.
And, being respectful at these places, that's, like I said, that's just common sense. But I'm still yet to see this manual that everybody talks about. Oh, well, you can't do that. You can't talk to the ghost like this. You can't ask them that.
Right.
I'm still waiting for that one.
And that's where provocation comes in. That's one thing that we don't do. We refuse that. I mean, why do you want to treat them with disrespect when you're actually trying to get answers from them? I mean, why use provocation? I mean, some people do it to get a rise out of it, and sometimes you be careful what you wish for. When you do some provocation, you might get more than you bargained for.
That's exactly right. And sometimes you have to learn the hard way with that. And I have not really like I never just was just totally rude, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like sometimes, I'd be like, okay, if you're so big and bad and you want to scare this person, or someone comes out and it's physically done something to them, it's like, all right, if you're so big and bad, come over here and do that to me. I have done that before, and I've learned my lessons a few times doing that. But that's the reason why that's one of our things that we always say: respect, detect, and collect. And it's a good thing to live by too, especially doing paranormal investigation.
Exactly. But sometimes I'm guilty of this myself, but you kind of get caught up in the moment. And, I'm going to talk a lot about the industrial slaughterhouse because that's our latest one, and we got our butts kicked. But we were in there, and my investigators were getting hurt. Paula had to leave the room because she felt like she was going to throw up. Sammy got punched in the stomach, and I just got pissed. I'm like, all right, so if you think you're big and bad, why don't you do something to me? Throw something at me.
Yeah.
And we had another team in there, and sockets were flying. People were getting hit with sockets, and nothing happened to me. So it's like, here, I'm calling them out, but they're hurting all the female investigators that were in the room.
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense to me. I mean, here, I called it out. It should have did something to me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's, and sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. It's almost like one of those intimidation factors. It wants to see who it can intimidate and who it can't. You know? I think that has a lot to do with, a lot of activity sometimes, because some people come in and they come in with like a different aura than somebody else. They might be a little more timid. And I think they figure that out pretty quick, because whatever it is we're dealing with, they're definitely intelligent and smart. So, I mean, I think they're just like humans, just like a bully. They'll be like, okay, that one that's kind of cowering in the corner, that's who I'm going for. That one that's kind of boasted out, I don't know about that guy. But this one over here is acting like a fool. He's just acting like a fool, but he's still scared. So, I mean, I think they can figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, they know who they can manipulate and who they can't sometimes, and plus I think it's how open you are to it,
right,
as well. I mean, this is just my opinions on it. I'm not scared of anything, but I'm very open to this stuff, and I don't think sometimes when they hurt you, when people say, "Oh, it hurt me," sometimes I don't think this stuff means to hurt you.
Right.
I think it's just trying to let you know that it's there. And you take it like it's attacking you, physically attacking you. I mean, just like at the Bell Witch. I don't know that it meant to leave a bruise or scratches on my leg. Or is it just, reaching out to my leg, in whatever dimension or however this thing's coming through, just to let, hey, Doogie, I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. One thing I was about to say was, we've been trying to look into this because one of our female investigators, whenever she is with us, she gets attacked. It doesn't matter what location she goes to, she gets attacked. She had a weird situation. Now, I know you guys were over at the Octagon Hall. That was your first, that was a kickoff of Haunted Live. But there was this book that she found, and it had to do with medical demons and spirits or something like that. It was all combined. It has a weird cover on it. And she picked up this book and she started looking at it. Well, then something hit her where she was infatuated with this book. She had to have this book. And so when she left the room, somebody hit it. And she just went ballistic because she had to have that book. I don't know. I don't think there's anything really evil there at the Octagon Hall, but for her, she's like, I want to say a ghost magnet. Weird things will attach to her, but they don't go home with her, and they affect her. So Paula started thinking, maybe, I don't know anything about this, but she said it's quite possible she has gypsy blood.
Gypsy blood?
Yeah.
I mean, that's possible. I mean, it's very, very possible.
I guess gypsy blood is like a white light that spirits don't like, maybe? Because she gets scratched, she gets kicked, punched. Any investigation she goes to, she gets attacked.
And nothing could be evil at this location at all. This could be like your wholesome, I guess I wouldn't call it everyday spirits.
Well, like Waverly Hills, she got scratched on the shoulder.
Yeah. She got attacked at Waverly. She got attacked at Octagon. She got attacked at, Slaughterhouse was understandable.
Oh, she got nailed there.
Everybody got nailed there.
Including me, the first time.
But it just seems like, and I've heard her stories, every location she's been to, she's had some kind of physical attack of some sort, even if it was just getting a scratch, her hair pulled, every location she's been to. She's prepared to have something happen to her as soon as she comes in the door.
That's why we started thinking maybe gypsy blood or a white light. I mean, she goes in there and she's not really open-minded or open to it. She just wants to go in and investigate and communicate with whomever is there. But then when they just kick her butt, can't figure out why.
I don't know. It's strange. I mean, I can relate to that in a sense. But sometimes I don't know if it's just because I'm open to it
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's something that I don't know that I have, just like she may not know that she has.
Mm-hmm.
That these things, they're like, oh, I can communicate with them. Like I said earlier, I don't know that it's actually they mean to hurt you. It's just the only way they know to communicate with that person, because maybe it's like, they're walking down a dark hallway and everybody else is dark.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, nah, I ain't gonna. And then they see that one light and they're like, oh, I'm going to go try to attach to this to see if I can communicate,
Right.
Maybe that's the deal. I don't know. It's really strange, because some of the other guys, they experience things too, but just not as abundant as I do. I mean, every time we go to a location, Chris, he'll look at me, he's like, dude, what are you feeling, man? Because I get this same feeling when we go somewhere we have just off the charts activity.
Mm-hmm.
I start getting like this real twisted feeling in my stomach. And then I start getting this blinding headache, like it comes up my neck and around the side of my head.
Mm.
And when that happens, I always tell them, I was like, guys, get ready. We're fixing to experience some stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's some kind of sensory mechanism, that some people have.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's really strange. It's something I can't explain.
Would you possibly think that you're a sensitive or maybe an empath?
People tell me that all the time. I've had psychics tell me that. I've had different people tell me. I don't know. I've read the stuff. I'm like, well, it sounds like some of the stuff I experienced, but, I don't know. I'm one of those type. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, I'm this. I don't know if I am or not. I just know that I go in places. I'm like one of the most realist people you ever meet. I know I go in these places, I experience this stuff, and I just tell you what I feel.
Right.
I don't tell anybody that, I'm a sensitive or anything like that. I just tell you what I experience.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious about that, because I actually got to experience what an entity, I guess, wanted to show me, and what he wanted me to feel was a heart attack.
Ooh.
Yeah. We were at the place, Benton Farms in, where's that at?
Walton, Kentucky.
Walton, Kentucky. And it's an old farmhouse, and something happened up there. There was a tragedy where there were soldiers that died because they drank the water. The water was contaminated or something. But we had two investigators plus Paula were up in the attic, and they were doing an EVP session, and my name came across. And right when my name came across, I got hit with a heart attack 2 floors down.
Oh, wow. I think I remember, I don't know if I was talking to you at Scarefest about this, or weren't you up at Plymouth? Were you at
No.
Plymouth?
Nuh-uh. I haven't.
I remember talking to you. This story sounds really familiar to me. I think you mentioned something about that, and I was like, man, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's Benton Farms. That's a place you guys ought to check out. It's truly amazing. Have you ever watched that movie Evil Dead with Bruce Campbell?
The old one?
Yeah.
The old Evil Dead? Yeah.
With Bruce Campbell, yeah. So when evil's about to hit, it goes and then bam, and it hits him, and he's like, ah, well, whatever, like that. After I had that heart attack, what was that? That sounded like a chicken.
What happened?
Did you open a door or something? It sounded like a chicken.
No, like everything went silent. I thought the call dropped again. I was like,
no, we just heard something that sounded like a chicken.
We heard a chicken.
We heard a chicken.
It's a ghost chicken.
That's funny.
Do we have chickens here?
No, I don't have chickens anywhere. I don't guess. If I did, they're in my freezer.
Oh my God! Yeah, it sounded like a chicken. But anyway, after I had that,
Tyson sent me a ghost chicken in a bag.
Oh man! After I had that heart attack feeling, went ahead and went outside to my truck. And Paula comes in out there, and she's like, what's going on? And I told her what happened. And all of a sudden, we could hear the like that. And it sounded like someone just slammed both fists into the window or the wall of the house.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was loud. I'm like, did you just freaking hear that? So that was yeah. I can't get over this chicken. That was.
That's kind of freaking. I'm like, because I seriously was clicking my phone. I was like, did we drop the call? Because you were saying something about that noise, and then it just went silent. I was like, hello?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to listen to the replay, but it sounded like it was that's why I asked. It kind of sounded like when you're opening one of those old doors, like that, but it sounded like a freaking chicken.
That's hilarious.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to re-listen to that again. But yeah, oh wow, that's freaky.
That's funny. Ghost chickens in the house.
Ghost chickens. Oh, yeah. Now I'm gonna have to look for that song, "Ghost Chickens in the Sky" or something like that. They played on Bob and Tom in the morning.
Oh God.
Bob and Tom. Yeah.
Oh man, you ever listen to that show?
I've heard it a few times. Yeah, I'm usually a sports radio guy. I don't really listen to much talk radio unless it's sports or something like that.
Oh, it ain't talk radio, that's for sure. It's Bob and Tom. They do parodies and oh geez, chick has a prostate exam live on the air. Yeah, it's just crazy stuff.
Oh my God, that's
yeah.
Sounds like I may need to listen to that.
Oh, it was crazy.
Sometimes you better wear some Depends on that one because sometimes you go riding down the road on the way to work in the mornings. You have that thing on and you're like, oh, God, no.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was on my way to work, and they said, yep, Chick McGee's going to have a prostate exam live on the air. And I'm like, he's going to do a what? And, I mean...
Is great. This go great. Great with my sausage and biscuit this morning.
Oh man, I was practically in tears when I got to work, and my boss goes, "Did somebody die?" And I'm like, "Oh no!" Oh.
No, but they were close.
Oh man, it was just crazy. Yeah, you ought to check it out. So, but anyway, we're nearing the end of our show here, and I'm going to go ahead and let you have the floor, where you can tell all of our listeners where they can find you, website, what events are going to be coming up, and how people can actually get in contact with you.
Yeah, you can hit me up on any social media other than Snapchat. I don't do Snapchat, but you can look me up at Doogie, TWC. That's DOOGIE, TWC. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You go to our website, wraithchasers.com. We have a whole event schedule there. You follow all the other guys. Every one of them's, Chris, Porter, Brandon, TWC after everything. So you can keep up with us, all over the place. We've got events all over the United States. We got a big one coming. I can't say exactly where it's at, but we're going to be busting open the West Coast come January.
All right.
And yeah, it's going to be great. You can go to centerstageevents.com, and that announcement will be coming out on the 7th. But we've got a lot of events coming up. This weekend we're in Savannah, Georgia, at Moon River Brewery. I think ticket sales are cut off for that, but we've got some more coming up at Rosemont here in Gallatin, the Palace Theater, Virginia. I mean, we're literally all over the map right now. So, like I said, go to tnwraithchasers.com and hit the little drop-down box and hit the events. You can see where we're all at. And like I said, just follow me on all my social, Doogie TWC, and you can figure out every place we're going to be at and keep all the updates on everything spooky and what's coming next with Haunted Live, Haunted Towns, and what's going on with the Travel Channel.
Awesome. West Coast, have you ever investigated the Queen Mary?
I have not, but I'm hoping that's in my near future, I hope.
Yeah, that one is going to be kind of a tough one. I mean, you got to have a lot of dollar signs. That's all I got to say.
Oh, I'm sure the Queen Mary, what I've heard about that, it's a very cool place, but it's a very expensive place as well.
Yeah. We went there, I was there with my parents because Tascam, as you noticed when you listen to our intro, Tascam is our sponsor for the Phantasmic Journey podcast. Also, they sponsor the Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. But they flew us out to NAMM for 2017 so we could speak on behalf of Tascam. And my parents live out there, my mom and dad. So we got to go to the Queen Mary, and we took the little ghost tour thing just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
And we did our own little investigation afterward because they're like, you guys look familiar. I'm like, oh, crap, here we go. So throughout the whole night, they go, so have you guys found any ghosts yet? I'm like, oh, great, they know who we are.
Yeah.
But we talked to a couple people, and they said, yeah, if you want to film in here, if you want the engine room, it's going to cost you $10,000. If you want the upper deck, where that one room is, where the guy committed suicide in the bathroom, it's $15,000. Or if you just want to do different sections of the ship, it's about $5,000. And believe it or not, that's how much Ghost Adventures paid to investigate the Queen Mary. I think they paid close to $35,000 to investigate it and film it.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about the prices. I know I'd like to go out there, and hopefully I'll be out there, sooner than later. But yeah, that's pretty wild. That's a little more than my baloney pocket can handle.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm not even sure.
Me and my ghost chicken. I think I'll just have to settle for that.
Oh man! So next time I see you, you'll have to say, "Hey, so how's that ghost chicken doing for you?"
Oh yeah, well I'm sure we're gonna cross paths somewhere. I mean, like I said, we met. Well, I've seen you twice up at Squarefest. I mean,
yeah, Scarefest, yeah,
Scarefest. Yep.
Is that a new paranormal thing?
Event.
Sure, why not?
We're going to be back up in Lexington, I think in January or February. We're doing another event with Ghost Hunt Weekends and that us and the Ghost Brothers. We're doing like a rematch of our last little deal. So that's going to be another cool thing coming up at the first of the year.
Yeah, we just had Dalen and Jawan on our show 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Or 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are a hoot. Especially putting you two guys together.
they're definitely some cool guys. I mean, I have to say, out of a lot of people that I've met in the paranormal, they're on my cool list for sure.
Yeah, especially watching that video that Chris did. It's like, let's see, they've done like maybe what, 2, and we've done 1 million.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's funny. We threw out some digs going back and forth with each other. I took a little flack about digging in my cat's litter box over that one. But it all worked out. They were out strolling. We took over their booth and signed our autographs on their photos. And,
oh wow!
So it all turned out good. We're going to see how it turns in 2019. We'll see how that rivalry goes.
Oh man! Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll win again because they'll be over there cleaning their sneakers or something. So it's all good.
Yeah, I was sitting there talking to Dalen. I'm like, when you're like sitting in that chair with the open door behind you and you start hearing noise, you're like, no, man, no. Oh, come on, man, no. And he's like, man, you got me down good.
Yeah, that's some good guys, man. I got a chance to hang with them for a pretty good while up at Scarefest.
Mm-hmm.
Different places we run into them, so yeah, they're really cool guys. I like them.
Oh yeah, they're great guys. All right, man. Well, we really appreciate being on the show. It was awesome having you on the show. And
hey, thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it. It's great talking to you all.
Oh, same here. And I'm sure we will cross paths. We'll have to figure out what we're doing to your schedule, and who knows, maybe sometime next year when we go to Old South or a different location that all of us never been to, maybe we all can go do it.
Oh, for sure, brother. Yeah, we'll be down for that. No worries there. Yeah.
Because I think Paul is working on a prison.
Yes,
which no one's ever been to.
Yes.
And
I'm actually working on a couple of locations that nobody's ever been to. So
yeah.
I think outside the book.
Cool. Well,
the box.
Think outside the box. Yeah, yeah.
I do the box
Hopefully you can
and
get
the book.
that prison, because I know a couple people on our team we could lock up for a while.
Oh man, let's just talk about that pterodactyl, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about the pterodactyl, and we'll send them in there and close them up in a cell and let them do a solo for a little while.
Oh man.
Well, this prison still has Sparky in it.
Oh yeah, that's right. It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it has the original Sparky in it.
Nice.
So that's gonna be fun.
It sounds like a good. Yeah, it sounds like a good place.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So, all right, man. Well, we're gonna go ahead and jump off here. We've already hit the 2-hour mark. So, you guys have been listening to the Phantasmic Journey podcast with me, your host, Gavin Kelly, and Paula Purcell Kelly, and our guest tonight was Doogie from the Tennessee Wraith Chasers. He gave you all his information. You can find him on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also if you heard about all of the other events, I'll go ahead and post links to all the events. Isn't there an event that you're going to be having in, is it St. John's or something like that coming up?
Yeah, St. John's. It's coming up, I think. I don't know, all these dates run together, but it's very soon.
Yeah.
I'm thinking January. Does that sound right?
I think so. That's what I was saying. It's coming up. They're still selling tickets for it, and I think it's Austin Maynard is running the event. So everybody needs to go ahead and check that out. Where is St. John's at?
I know it's north.
Okay.
Is that in Bryan, Ohio?
That's all I can tell you.
I don't know. It's not in Bryan, Ohio. I don't think it's in Bryan, Ohio. I think it's someplace else. I'm not sure.
No, we are doing an event. I think we're doing another event in Bryan, Ohio. We've got an event there, and then we're doing the St. John's.
Yeah.
We're also fixing to do, I think, Rolling Hills again. Man, we're all over. So I don't know. I'll throw a picture of a pin drop on the map of where we're headed.
There you go. It sounds like the map that's hanging in my office. I got little pins, and someone comes in and is like, "What's the red pins, man?" They go, "Those are the ones we're going to."
For me, it's like 1 week at a time.
I sit in the office all the time. I got a map, and I just throw a dart, and I'll be like, all right, I guess that's where we're going this week.
All right, I'm going to Bismarck, North Dakota. Oh, wait, Bismarck is South Dakota or North Dakota? Okay, North Dakota. Ooh, I'm smart. I know geography.
I'm learning.
Oh, man. All right, man. We are going to go ahead and jump off here, and we'll definitely have you back on the show again. Got to remember, next week, Wednesday, December, I want to say 12th, we're going to have Scott Porter on from Tennessee Wraith Chasers. And on December 19th, we're going to be joined by Chris Smith, Brandon Smith, and Mike G. So December is definitely the Tennessee Wraith Chasers month.
Yep, and our favorite person is Santa Claus, so we definitely a good month to be sharing with them.
Yep. All right, man. Well, you take it easy, and it was great having you on the show.
All right, thank you so much, y'all. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
The Phantasmic Journey podcast is brought to you by Tascam and Amazon Studios. For more than 30 years, Tascam has developed products for every segment of the sound and music industry. From the high-end audio professional in a major post-production studio to the novice of hobbyist at home, Tascam is everywhere. They are a company committed to providing their customers audio and video solutions that enable breakthroughs by using sound in ways that are exciting as they are accessible, even recording the voices of the dead. You asked for a non-scripted paranormal TV show. You begged for a non-staged paranormal TV show. You begged and you pleaded, and we have listened. We present to you Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. It was released October 31st, 2017. In this series, we show you what it's like behind the scenes and conducting a real paranormal investigation. Join Gavin Kelly, Colin Purcell, and their special guests to seek out the existence of life after death by going to numerous haunted locations such as jails, hospitals, battlefields, and museums, collecting compelling evidence by means of video, photography, and EVPs. In this season, the crew investigates the St. Albans Sanatorium, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Jailhouse Pizza, and the famed Monroe House. And you can watch Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown on Amazon.com right now. Season 2 and 3 will be coming soon. Your journey begins